Every single country on earth has an original sin. And that original sin is the cover-up of the abuse of children. For the United States and the UK, it's getting exposed as Jeffrey Epstein. But in Japan, a possibly bigger scandal was exposed 2 or 3 years ago. But unlike in the United States or Europe, where the Epstein scandal is all over every newspaper and television station, and there's documentaries about it on Netflix, etc., Johnny Kitagawa got away with it completely. Not only did he get away with it, his real name, Hiromu Kitagawa, was paid by the newspapers whom he sued because he so completely controlled the system. So here's the story. Between the late 1950s through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 00s, aughts, whatever you want to call them, all the way to 2019 when he died, Johnny Hiromu Kitagawa was raping boys, okay? Sexually assaulting boys. I had to censor myself because I'm afraid the YouTube algorithm will block this video. But you know what? I don't care. He raped hundreds of boys. The media knew about it. Everyone who worked for Johnny's Entertainment knew about it, but they looked the other way. And it wasn't until 2002 when a newspaper finally published something that the rumors that had been boiling in the background and were completely ignored by the Japanese entertainment establishment, because this guy owned the Star Factory, let's say. You could call it the MGM of Japan, although it was for music, to make boy bands. Because of all his money and power and connections to the media, the scandal was completely ignored until 2002, and even then it was quashed by the media. One newspaper managed to report on the abuse of hundreds of boys. You know what happened to them? They were sued, and Johnny Hiromu Kitagawa was paid a settlement. So instead of going to prison or at least being exposed for the hundreds of sexual crimes he had committed, he was paid. Finally, in 2023, a little bit was done by a wonderful documentary that I will link in the comments below. But in Japan, it's still completely ignored and most people don't believe it. Johnny Kitagawa to me is somewhat of an in-between Epstein and Michael Jackson, a man who used his power and influence to abuse children, and whom the media basically ignored and even supported, even though everyone knew about it, because everyone was compromised in making money. And still to this day in Japan, most people refuse to believe the hundreds of victims. So take a look at the documentary and you will be shocked. And I'm sorry to have this strident voice, but unfortunately it seems that in our societies, no matter what country you're in, there are child abusers that get away with it because they have money and power.